The Fed says inflation might be higher. You think? What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Daily Update for Sunday, August the 1st. And here we are. Another month gone by, another month the market's sucked in consolidation, another month of new developments out of the new administration, or they're not so new anymore, and the beat just keeps on going. And this update is brought to you by our friends at the CTG Group, Capital Trading Group, and of course we have many brokers, but when it comes to futures and options, when it comes to futures and commodities, it is the CTG Group or Capital Trading Group. And of course, the answer is simple. Why? They have great customer service. They actually talk to you without having to leave a voicemail. And they're the only ones that have approved for letter of direction trading, which they also trade all of my accounts, have great managed futures products. If you want more information, all you got to do is reach out to info.capitaltradinggroup.com/Bubba. That is info.capitaltradinggroup.com/Bubba. In the meantime, the Fed says there might be more inflation. Geez, surprise. Okay. And as we understand, and as I think we all know, and if you don't know, I think it's time you learned that, the Fed, which, as you know, I'm not a fan of to begin with, so we won't hide that part. But it was not meant to be a political organization. And of course, now that the chance for reappointment for Chair Powell is coming up, he is doing all he can to help President Biden gut the system out of everything. And Lael Brainerd continues to push for the digital currency, which, oh my goodness gracious, that will be a tragic day in the United States of America. The day that you have lost every bit of privacy that you had, because every dime you spend will be tracked exactly. Okay, it'll be like your own private general ledger. Okay, but yes, there's inflation. I mean, there's no, and it ain't going, and it's not coming down anytime soon. You're going to have to pay workers more money. You can't get them to work now. You've got a government that is dying to get in a universal income, which brings the higher probability of another shutdown in the economy. I mean, think about it. Okay, you're back to mask mandates inside. Of course, certain counties have fought and told the government to go scratch and have actually won in court. However, again, I think you've seen that Biden is looking to shut it down, and they don't want to shut it down for health reasons. They want to shut it down because they want to get universal income here, okay, so that they can continue to maintain and rig the elections forever. Okay, it is basically a way of having everybody be dependent on the government, okay, for their paychecks. And of course, as we're witnessing right now with the stimulus packages, many people will not go to work because of the stimulus packages. Now, of course, I wouldn't hire those people anyways. They don't want to go to work. But at the end of the day, this is a much bigger, grander plan of universal income and destruction of the capitalistic free markets that we know, and the continuing of keeping money unreasonably cheap. Okay, and I'm telling you, it's unreasonably cheap. The markets do not find proper price discovery. They're price discovery, but it is not what it should be, because if it was, interest rates would be much higher, and there are many who pay much higher than what we see, that is advertised, or mortgage rates. So it is a very, very big problem. And if you don't think so, look at what Fannie Mae is reporting. Massive amounts of delinquencies in mortgages. Does this sound familiar? Does it sound like 2008 again? Okay. Does it sound like 2001 again? This is always the problem that we are creating, okay, because we take away the drive and desire to create, to be entrepreneurial, to have the ability to make more money. We allow people to get in massive debts, and of course, eventually, those, it's amazing. Debts have to be paid, and it's an amazing factor. But sometimes you got to pay the money back, and then you get delinquencies. And of course, we had yesterday the eviction notice. The ability for landlords to evict tenants was lifted on Saturday, yesterday. And of course, what does that mean? It means now there can be some real evictions, which there will. And of course, many of the Democrats that could have been there to stop it were on vacation, and good for them because it shouldn't be stopped. You got to remember the other side of the equation, which is the landlord. They need money too. If you're living or renting from somebody, you need to be able to collect your rent because you got to pay your expenses. This is the part we seem to forget, that the whole chain is involved with everything. If I'm the landlord and you don't have to pay, how am I going to pay my vendors? Okay. So it becomes a much bigger problem. And of course, as we continue to talk about the loss of freedom, well, once again, Twitter does it again. Okay. And that is a scientist who tweeted out a report on the Pfizer clinical test. They didn't like the report, so they banned the report and the author. And so once again, another person and another bit of our freedom is chipped away because the social media companies have too much power. And of course, that is by design of course, the party in power right now. And, you now want to bring in non-citizens to vote. Now, where is the imbecilic logic in having somebody who's not a citizen of the United States and giving them the right to vote? Okay? I mean, we already understand, and listen, the last election might have been the most egregious from a fixed standpoint and some funny, shady business going on, but I assure you it was not the first. Okay, and I assure you that both parties over the years are guilty. And of course, the only way we can ever solve that nonsense is to have term limits on everybody, on every office, because lifetime politics is stupid. And if somebody wants to be in politics for life, it means they're stealing something, in my opinion. So, it would be very easily solved to make it 1 6-year term for every office in the country. We would save billions and trillions on elections and ridiculous accusations and nonsense. And because we in this country spend more money on nonsensical government projects, the things, the committees and all the stuff that waste all this money for nothing. For what? Okay. I mean, they're still going after President Trump, okay, and spending millions and millions of dollars. And it's now 6 years they're going after him, and they continue. And again, there's so many examples. There are too many to cite. And I don't know. I think probably one of the biggest stories of the week is, of course, George Soros, who gave $1 million to defunding police. Now, again, you have to think about this from a logical standpoint. Okay, are any of you going to go out there and defend American citizens against the criminals? Okay, we keep coming up with this defund the police stupidity and ignorance. Okay, how many of you would go out there for $60,000 a year and put your life on the line every day to save somebody? Now, is there bad cops? Of course there's bad. There's bad everything. You can find bad in every walk of life, from the most ones you would never expect to the ones you might expect, and don't be surprised. So if you're going to continue this ridiculous, moronic, defund the police strategy, why don't you move the hell out of the country? Who the hell wants you here? There is no point. If you're so unhappy with the way that we run here, then move. Nobody needs you in this country if you're going to continue to try to dismantle it piece by piece. We're already in the middle of destruction, okay, from the separation of groups and the hatred being created by, right now, the party in power. Okay, you can say what you want, but there is nobody who creates more racism and hatred than Maxine Waters, okay, than Nancy Pelosi, and others like them. And again, I'm not just picking on them. Both parties suck. Okay, that's the end game. But there's nobody who has created more division, because there is an old saying, divide and conquer. Okay, so they're going to continue to divide us so that they can conquer smaller groups. And I tell you that you cannot allow this stuff to continue to happen. It has to be, as Barney Fife used to say, it has to be nipped in the bud right now, because again, we're gonna have another revolutionary war. You can bet your sweet potatoes that there is stuff going on right now behind the scenes, and there is planning going on for a massive revolt. All right, and we've got so many issues in this country, and as I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, the number one state or city in the country, the hardest gun laws in the country, are in Chicago, Illinois. Where's the number one murder rate? In Chicago. Right, I forgot about that. Okay, because of course you continue to restrict what police can do. You want to get the guns from the people that are legal, but of course, if you want something illegally, you can get all you want. What are we nursery school people here? We never heard of the fact that people buy stuff illegally every single day? Okay, so I think that we have some serious problems. Listen, you see what's going on with Israel, and of course how Biden has walked away from Israel. Okay, now there was some drone bombings, and of course it's probably, we don't know for sure, but it's probably Iran. Okay, and because they've already walked away from some talks, and there's some problem with Germany, and but yet one of our best allies, okay, our current president has ignored and walked away from. Okay, now, hey, maybe you don't care, maybe you're happy about it. I don't know. Okay, but I can tell you this. Okay, they are a great ally to have, and to walk away for what they're doing. But of course, it's more of the continuation. And, if you think that we're out of the financial woods in trouble because suddenly we're all out spending and there's some good numbers around, just remember, hotel numbers are down year over year, from 2 years ago, because last year doesn't count, but they're down 8% from 2019. Everything is down from 2019. So as we're spending like drunken sailors now, or it appears to be so, remember that the stimulus is going to run out at some point. Many states have stopped it. And if people don't go back to work and get this country going, you will have stagflation. You will have a much bigger problem. And again, you can say as you wish, okay? And maybe you're happy with the way things are going, but I am certainly not. I think I can only see some major troubles. And as I get ready to take a break here, as I said, for those of you who don't like it here, get the hell out. Nobody wants you, okay? Quit trying to stir the pot to cause violence and trouble. If you're not happy, go somewhere else. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Todd Bubba Horowitz. It is Sunday, August the 1st. We're going to step out here for a break, and we'll be back with our market update right after the break. Remember, okay, we have some great sponsors and partners, and of course, our other brokerage partner. And again, we do have other brokers for both equities and future and options as well. But our equity broker partner is with Tradier. Okay, and very simple. It's $10 a month. I mean, it's all about the money. When you can say anything you want. When life comes down to it, money is always one thing that's important. So at $10 a month, plus the fact they have terrific service, they keep you informed, and we have the ability, if you want, and this is entirely your decision, But if you're a member of our equity portfolio models, you get to get automatic trading for free. We don't charge, and Trader doesn't charge for it because it's part of your membership. And Trader only charges $10. So you can get automation on your equity portfolios, and for a fee, you can get automation on your hedging because hedging is a class, not a membership. But either way, okay, it's up to you. You can get the signals and trade anywhere you want. We don't care. But at $10 a month, we always like Trader. Okay, and family farms. I was in Missouri this week, and they are I was in one of the counties, by the way, that told the government to go scratch about masks, and they won in court. But in the meantime, family farms, what a great partner, what a great event they put on, and I can't wait to give you more information on them for my farmers who tune in, because you know what, very impressive organization, and really, just like me, has farmers' best interest in their minds, and I think that's great. Okay, and our commodity report, which is written by Andy Hecht. Look, all I can tell you is if you're a commodities trader or involved and you're not reading his report, please go see a doctor because there's something wrong with you. This report is the most dynamic, most on top of markets of anyone I've ever seen. And, I only tell you this because, again, it's important. And you've got 40 years from Andy's side. You've got, our algorithms tied into there. And if you're in the business, you ought to go check it out. Go to Technomental at BUBBA'S.com. And yesterday we did a webinar. We have a special on 2 single portfolio models. We normally don't sell them. We normally sell them as a group, but we've got 2 specials. If you want to check the recording out from yesterday's webinar, just shoot me an email at BUBBA'S.com. And of course, our high school program at Patreon, patreon.com/BubbaTrading. That's patreon.com/BubbaTrading. Now let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line with me, your host, Bubba Horowitz. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, August the 1st. And, well, hey, the summer is flying by. And, of course, the older you get, the faster time goes. But in the meantime, markets, as we like to say all the time, money goes where it is treated best. But also want to remind you that our sponsor of this segment is going to be Trader Brokerage. And again, Trader, $10 a month. How can you pass it up? We've got their API, so we have the ability to automate your portfolio if you choose. That is entirely up to you. There is no requirement and there is no charge. So that is up to you, and also hedging. And of course, next Saturday, we will be doing a hedging webinar as we prepare for the fall and get ready to rock and roll again. But in the meantime, as I talk about markets, and look, they feel like they were down like a gazillion, but they were virtually hardly down, but lower. Okay, the Dow, the S&P, and NASDAQ were all slightly lower. Okay, but did close out profitable months. Remember, depending on the time frame you're watching, but they were marginally lower and very much right near new highs. Okay, in fact, last week they did all make new highs, with the exception of the Russell, which we are still short. Now, the Russell, interesting enough and not surprising, was slightly higher last week, and we are still short that. But again, as I tell you all the time, money will go where money is treated best. And with interest rates where they are, and with an ignorant Fed that refuses to identify, they're always going to be wrong. They've never been right in history yet. Why would we expect this day to be different? In the meantime, in the metals markets, we are still short silver, and would still be short platinum if we traded it. We no longer trade it. We did reverse to long gold, and of course, took a little smush on Friday. But overall, looks like it finally did break out. Silver looks pathetic at the moment, and platinum looks bad. Platinum looks like it's in trouble, like it might go under 1,000 right now. And gold looks like it can go up, but I think there will be some equilibrium here somewhere, and either there will be a false, this is a false breakout in gold, or silver will probably catch up. But again, we are big fans, and in fact, we are bringing on a physical and gold and metals sponsor as well in the next couple of weeks. In the meantime, those are our positions: long gold, short silver, and would be short platinum, but don't trade anymore. And the bond market's bonds and notes. Look, at the end of the day, you have an accommodated Fed. Now, I still believe that the bond traders are going to take one more crack at it. Okay, but I think they're kind of waiting. And I think that we saw the Fed this week, which did nothing, but they are recognizing the inflation. But I also think a lot is going to happen when it comes down to Jackson Hole in a couple of weeks. So let's see what happens in Wyoming. And I think that should be the first shot across the bow. So right now, bonds and notes continue to go higher. We continue to be long both bonds and notes. The dollar had a rough week. Now, the dollar itself, we are now short dollars. It did fail right from the top, and it came right down almost towards the bottom. So almost a pretty key reversal on a weekly basis. So we're still short dollars. Crude, I mean, again, as we say all the time, this policy, the energy policy in this country is going to promote much higher prices. You can't avoid it. When we had the opportunity, which makes no sense, especially with the amount of coal. If coal is done, then why are we seeing record amounts of coal being shipped on ships? So at the end of the day, what can I tell you? But crude continues to go up, and we obviously remain long. Natural gas, a little bit lower for the week, but listen, it's where it is right now at this time of year, unbelievable. We're still long. And copper, higher for the week. We're long copper. Again, it was in solid consolidation. Didn't want to break down, and so it looks like it decided to break up, and that is typically what you might expect, after time. And as we look into the grain markets, corn and the grains are under some strange kind of pressure. Corn was basically flattish by the time you get to the end of the week. Soybeans were also basically flat, but flat but slightly lower, and wheat was higher. But we're long wheat, long beans, and still short corn. But you have just interesting action, and this is it's so quiet that there's really not much to base it on. So you have a lot of people trying to play weatherman, and the meats and the protein complex feeders have a lower week, but again they're up at near their highs. You have to expect at some point there's always selling. Hogs got a little bit ripped. But nothing serious. We're still long hogs, and live or fed cattle, which we're long, is surging higher. But again, nothing is a surprise. We're in good shape across the board there, and I see nothing that I would consider to be concerning. In the softs, cotton is we can really remain long cotton, and it's been having some nice movement, but it also was a little bit wild. And coffee, what a week for coffee. Ran up 50 cents, came down, but is up still higher. It's in the $1.70-ish range, $1.80, okay, 179.55. But, you have to continue to let that trade, and but it has been wild. But that's what happens when a market finally breaks out. And sugar, we are still long sugar as well. We're long coffee as well. We're still long sugar. It was down a little bit, but up for the week. And cocoa, we reversed and we're long. So, and OJ, we're long. So, we're still basically long all the softs. Okay. And, that doesn't change until it does, right? We will change when we change in Bitcoin. We are long Bitcoin in our portfolio on one of our new ones, the micro Bitcoin. We are now trading, and we did reverse to long. And it, again, it came off of levels we thought it would. And of course, again, we are believers in the crypto space. Just again, make sure the money that you're putting in is money that you can lose without being fearful of the amounts of money that you're going to lose. Don't get too crazy. But again, it is something to certainly, again, if you like to play, because I think it's going to be real, and I think it's spectacular. Okay? I think it's got a real shot to be a mainstay currency, especially as more governments in these fiat currencies want to clip us, okay? Because they're devaluing your money as it sits in their pocket, okay? And they're taking your values away. And obviously, that is nothing we ever want to see, but that's what is going on in the meantime. So, look, bottom line, it's going to be quiet. We're in the dog days of summer. It is August. You will get some, as they call them, vacuums on quiet days. My advice to everybody is certainly you can take a look to see what's going on. But if there is not enough action to trade, then walk away, turn the machine off, because the biggest key in this industry, in this business, is to be able to come back tomorrow. We're going to step out of a break. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. We'll be right back after this break with, of course, my weekly commentary. Well, kids, we talk about lots of stuff on the show here. And of course, I only recommend people and products that I use myself. Okay. And of course, I've got many brokers, but, Trader, which we talked about earlier for our equities and futures, equities and options. And of course, CTG Group for futures and commodities. And again, they trade all of my accounts. Okay. That's how I think. That's how highly I think of them. I am also letter of direction for my models with them. I day trade myself, but for my models, I use them. They've got great customer service. They've got some nice managed futures products, which are some hedging. They got a lot of beautiful stuff. Check them out. info.capitaltradinggroup.com/Bubba. That's info.capitaltradinggroup.com/Bubba. And of course, Family Farms. What a super organization. It was such a pleasure to be part of it and to be able to contribute to their charity as well. But to meet everybody and be out in public, it was great. And we'll get some more information as we go forward. Plus, we have a new metals sponsor for physical delivery coming in shortly. And the commodity report written by Andy Hecht, what can I tell you? It's the best report written. If you're trading commodities and you're not reading it, shame on you. Check it out at BUBBATrading.com. It's called Technomental. And of course, our high school program at Patreon, patreon.com/BubbaTrading. That's Technomental. That's patreon.com/BubbaTrading. In the meantime, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and my commentary. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line, Todd Bubba Horowitz. And of course, every week I give you my commentary. And today is August 1st, Sunday, the first Sunday in August. And, I got to tell you, there are so many things that I'm so discouraged and upset about. But nothing more than the Olympics and the women's soccer team and all of the athletes that are there representing the United States of America. Not they're representing themselves, although they are in a way. But for this event, they are being sponsored, they are being paid for, and they are representing the United States of America. Yet, when they play the national anthem, they turn away from the flag. Now, again, why would you go if you hate this country and you're going to create nonsense and stupidity? Okay, listen, everybody is entitled to their own opinions, and I didn't like what Colin Kaepernick did, but I never said he was wrong. I said he had every right to do what he does. He's a paid athlete, was doing it at I thought the wrong venue, but the Olympics is not the right venue when you are representing and being sponsored by your country. Okay, and in Hong Kong, somebody booed during the Chinese national anthem, and they got arrested. Okay, now is that the environment we want to go to? As I said earlier, my words for you are: if you don't like it here, get the hell out. Nobody wants you here. Okay, that's the point. Those who want to continue to create hatred and a mess, like Popovich, the San Antonio Spurs coach, or Steve Kerr, all the NBA guys who had a chance to do something in life and stood mute when it counted. Okay, again, I tell you, if you don't like the United States of America, then you should get the hell out of here, because at the end of the day, as bad as things could be today, there is no place better in the world than right here. So if you're going to represent this country, represent it with pride and honor. And if you want to hate the country, then hate, but hate somewhere else. Okay? We don't need you to create more problems than there are, because we have enough with the politicians creating hatred and division. We don't need our athletes that are supposed to represent this country. Have a great weekend, everybody. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. As always, I thank you very much for your time, and I'm glad you had a chance to listen. In the meantime, we'll see you back, of course, tomorrow with the daily update, which we do every day. But in the meantime, if not, we'll see you next Sunday with another Bubba's Bottom Line. In the meantime, I thank you. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you around.